Here we are. I'm live. So in case you missed me, I'm gonna start all over again. So we are before the break. We talked about allergies. We mentioned this is time. Spring is coming up around the corner, and with spring, as we know, allergies, allergy season, pollens, weeds, trees, grasses, you name it, fleas, all creating major issues for our pets. And traditionally, historically, we've had to resort to some medications that we don't necessarily love. I mean, when used properly, yes, they can be safe, certainly effective, but we never really had the handle on how to stop the allergic reaction from its core. Now, in people, just to give you a little quick lesson, obviously we know that the transmitter, the cellular transmitter, okay, that is causes the basis of our allergic response is histamine. Okay, so histamine is what causes the itching, the redness, the runny eyes. That is all a histamine release related symptom. Now, so what do? When we have allergies, we clearly take antihistamines. Very simple. We want to block the histamine, so we take an antihistamine, and that solves some of our allergic symptoms. Now, what about a dog? Well, in dogs, the one thing we did know that histamine is not a major player. In fact, maybe 15%, not even. So therefore, when we have given dogs antihistamines expecting the same response that we get when we take an antihistamine for our allergies, we're hugely disappointed. Why? Because histamine is not the cause. It's not really causing the symptoms. So interestingly, I often have used antihistamines, but when I use them, I use a good old-fashioned antihistamines like chlorpheniramine, diphenhydramine. Why? Not for the antihistaminic effect, but those are the ones that are the drowsy ones. So it kind of relaxes them a little bit, takes the edge off, but it's not really getting to the root of the problem. I never liked the newer non-drowsy antihistamines because they're really worthless. Because I mean, if you want to get some benefit out of the antihistamine, at least use one that's going to kind of knock your dog out a little bit, make them feel better. So we now know that the agent, okay, the cellular mediator involved is released from T helper cells, and it is called interleukin 31. It's a cytokine. And cytokines are released in response to many different allergens, antigens, responses of the body for different reasons. This one cytokine is called interleukin 31, IL-31, and this is the bad guy. IL-31, when it meets up with the skin cells, it creates the havoc that we see on the outside as redness, irritation, inducing scratching, secondary infection, all because of interleukin 31. And up till now, we never really knew how to block the interleukin 31 specifically. So we resorted to medications that help with anti-inflammation, like corticosteroids. And that's why the basis of treating allergies for years has been corticosteroids, unfortunately, not without potential side effects when the drug was not used properly or if it was overused. We would get, almost like iatrogenic Cushing's. We would get the bloated bellies with it. These dogs would drink and pee a lot. Of course, immunosuppression down the road. Another one that became very popular was cyclosporine. Cyclosporine is a medication. Often it can be used safely, used a lot when treating immune-mediated diseases. And by suppressing the immune response, then we would suppress the allergic symptoms because the body was not responding the same. But it really wasn't getting to the point of the problem. It was more like a Band-Aid. I mean, it was just stopping, it was covering up the symptoms. It wasn't doing anything to actually block the reaction. So when Zoetis was still part of Pfizer Animal Health, has since broken away, created its own company called Zoetis. And Zoetis has been continuing this search for the answer to how do we block interleukin 31? What's the magic? And they actually succeeded in getting the answer. And the answer, it's amazing. And actually they came up with two answers, but one was introduced first. The problem with it was the hype for the veterinarian was so great that we never could keep it on the shelf. And they were allotting it to veterinarians, mostly at first the dermatologists, and then veterinarians that have been ordering a lot of products. It just wasn't readily available. And the problem was somebody would hear about it and then want to get a refill because it worked so darn well. And the vet said, sorry, I'm out of it. I can't get it on the shelf. I can't order it. Well, now the supply is there, and they will be starting to really market this product. You need to know about it. It's fantastic. You want to ask your vet. It's called Apoquel, Apoquel. The drug is called oclacitinib, and oclacitinib is an interleukin-31 blocker. The way it works is when IL-31, interleukin-31, hits the cell, it needs the help of these two enzymes to actually carry out its damage. These enzymes are called Janus kinase 1 and Janus kinase 3 for short. We just call them JAK1 and JAK3. Well, the oclacitinib, the Apoquel, blocks those two enzymes. So yes, interleukin-31 is released. It goes to the cell at once. It's ready to just wreak the havoc. It's ready to cause all those problems and the itching and the redness and the sores, etc. But without JAK1 and JAK3, it's harmless. And oclacitinib, the Apoquel, blocks those two enzymes. So it's really great. And interestingly, at the dose recommended, it doesn't touch JAK2 or some of the other Janus kinase enzymes, which have really positive purposes and effects on the body. So we want to be very sure that we're not overdoing it, which is why you want to stay, of course, within the dosage range at the dosage recommendations. The recommendations usually are to start twice a day for anywhere from 10 to 14 days. That's sort of like a blast off, and then go to once a day. And my recommendation now, it has changed, is that once a day should be in the evening. Originally, they recommended the morning, and we found, for us at least, the evening works better. Now, for those of you where Apoquel doesn't work as well, maybe, or very tough to pill your pet, the same response, positive response, and effective medication is now in an injectable form called Cytopoint. Now, Cytopoint's a little different. It is an injection. It's once every 30 days, which is phenomenal. And the way Cytopoint works, it's an immunotherapy. So instead of waiting for IL-31 to be released from the T helper cells, travel to the skin cells, and then have the Apoquel block the enzymes needed for the interleukin-31 to do its damage, the way the Cytopoint works, the injection, is it attacks the interleukin-31 directly as soon as it's released from those T helper cells. And it's very specific to the IL-31. Now, there are other allergens and mediators of the inflammatory response that might be released at the same time, but interleukin-31 is the one that really seems to be the king when it comes to the allergic response. And the Cytopoint is extremely effective. I mean, I've been using it now for a while. I was one of the lucky veterinarians, general practice veterinarians, that had a good supply early on. And I have been so amazed. I'm talking terribly allergic animals that we give a Cytopoint injection, we send home the Apoquel, one or the other, you don't need both, and I will get a call a day later. I can't believe it. It was like instant success. So you want to ask your veterinarian, especially now coming up on springtime. We're going to see allergic dogs. This is not good for cats. It's just for dogs. And you want to ask for either the Apoquel or Cytopoint. Hopefully they can, if they don't have it, they can get it. If they don't have it, they better order it. Tell them it's that good. And you will write me and thank me here at Dr. Jeff, Dr. Jeff at PetLifeRadio.com for making sure you're aware of it, you recognize it. It is truly a godsend. So anyway, that's all the time we have for today. If you have any questions about your pet's allergies, about your pet's anything, get a hold of me here at Dr. Jeff at PetLifeRadio.com. Or next time we're on, you can just, don't be bashful, don't be shy, and you can join us here on Google Hangouts by logging on to Pet Life Radio, Ask the Best with Dr. Jeff tab, and join us. Once again, thanks to our sponsors, Bravecto, every 12-week, tasty, chewable flea and tick product, very effective, really works. Save This Life microchip, still threatening to have Chance White on as my guest. We'll learn more about microchipping in general and Save This Life in particular. And of course, Kong Veterinary Products, More Than a Cone events, raising awareness of animal welfare through the arts. Have a great week, everybody, and we'll see you soon next week.